Hi everyone, this is Vicki Merritt, and this is my first time actually using the web camera. I'm I hate my picture being taken, so I oftentimes just do audio over for my PowerPoint. So don't even like my picture taken in family photos. So bear with me for any anxiety you see. So we're talking about copyright scenarios, and I found this really interesting this week. I also teach at University of Maryland Global Campus, and this is a common issue. So this was really informative. So in any case, the first scenario that we were given were YouTube videos. And can we post YouTube videos into the classroom? And the answer is yes, we can, because we're using them for educational purposes and we are nonprofits. This is absolutely doable. Considerations. One thing that I think we need to consider is accessibility. Is closed caption an option for that particular video? Also, YouTube sometimes will have videos that are they are not supposed to be downloaded. So they might have a warning on them, or they were illegally done and they get pulled a day or two later. So if you're at all suspicious of that, it's best to get permission before you use that, or to avoid that video altogether and find another one. The next scenario was scholarly articles. And yes, of course, we can import scholarly articles into our classroom. Typically, I learned something new, which I thought was really interesting, and that's the Teach Act of 2002, um, because I did not realize that there was a time period that we were not supposed to leave the scholarly articles in a classroom for semester from semester to semester. So I thought that was really interesting. Um, I also realized that, well, I don't do this. Some of my colleagues have websites or blogs that they use, and importing videos or scholarly articles or anything else onto that site may interfere with fair use because there's no way that you can guarantee that that website or blog is used solely for educational purposes. So it's probably best not to do that, or to at least secure permissions prior to doing that. And then finally, one of the things I do a lot is to encourage deeper critical thinking with my students. I will attach a link to an article to encourage them to think a little bit more about an issue that we're talking about. One thing that I learned is that shouldn't be done. I typically don't. I do it within the classroom, but it shouldn't be done via email because you can't control downstreaming. So I thought that was very interesting. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is websites, and can we use websites and import websites into our classroom? And the answer is yes. The best way to do that is by just simply showing a hyperlink that the students can then use to access the website. There is a way, and I do this sometimes for University of Maryland. It's called deep linking, which is where you actually, if the website is really huge, you actually migrate to a specific page on the website so the student isn't overwhelmed trying to find the correct information. But that can be a little tricky. Typically, you have to get permission to do that because you don't want the information to be taken out of context. And so you don't want it to be misleading because the student isn't reading everything. So you have to be a little more careful with deep linking. And typically, I rely on my director at the college and university to go ahead and allow that process to occur, and then we import that into the classroom. Some things that you have to be careful of if you are connecting websites was that you want to be careful that the website isn't already being used for educational purposes, because that could create a conflict for copyright issues. And then also, a really good site that I reference is the Creative Commons area, because that stuff is material that we can use on a regular basis. And so if you look for that trademark, that's always a really good thing. So in any case, it was really interesting exercise. I enjoyed this, and I'm determined to overcome my anxiety about being filmed. So first steps. Anyway, thanks so much.